Greetings War Thunderers, this is Longshot with a long overdue return to War Thunder, after not playing the game for over 6 months. As you might expect, I'm quite rusty, so a logical approach would be to fly overpowered seal clubbing planes until I found my feet, but no, I decided to set myself the rather ridiculous challenge of up-tiering the F4F-3 Wildcat, or as I prefer to call it, the Bathtub of Glory. My mission is to shoot down 10 planes in an arcade battle, flying solo, and survive through to the end. The only question is how high I'm going to up-tier this fighter, which to be honest isn't the first plane you'd choose at its 2.3 battle rating, let alone a higher one. I settled on a 4.0 lineup, which means it can meet planes right up to 5.3. So let's take a very quick look at the Bathtub's flight characteristics. Here's the good news. Its maneuverability is pretty good, especially at low speed, and it can take a licking and keep on ticking. It's going to need to. However, its climb rate is poor. Its acceleration is pitiful. Its energy retention is bad. Any hard turns will slow it down dramatically, and it's armed with 4 50 cals, which were pretty weak sauce the last time I played War Thunder. Before I could even think about going for my goal of 10 kills, however, I had to learn to fly the plane and also come up with some tactics to make the most of its few strengths and minimise its weaknesses. So, here's one of my first flights in the plane, and I'm about to be intercepted by a BF-109. I'll just let him get close in, then roll into a dive, and then a sharp turn to get under his guns. A quick loop, but War Thunder's turned my world upside down for a moment. I ignore it and focus on the 109, who wants to dogfight. Neither of us are gaining an advantage as our turn rates are fairly equal, but then he makes a mistake. Now I hold the upper hand as we're back into the looping turn fight, but the longer this goes on, the more nervous I am about being intercepted. After all, there's a lot of red fighters around. I need quick, clean kills, and this is anything but. Notice the crosshairs dancing around as I try to aim and shoot. There's a reason for that, which I'll explain later, but at the time I wrongly blamed the Bathtub's flight model, and that is not the cause. Anyway, I may as well try for another shot at the 109. No luck. Now it's time to wave off and look around. Yep, a Key 61 and a spit incoming, and the 61's engaging me, so again I need to go evasive. Into a climbing spiral, and his superior speed forces him to overshoot. Got to be careful with a climbing spiral in this plane. Anyway, he's turning away from me, but then he turns back. There. He's had second thoughts, and that's going to bring him right across in front of my guns. But again, the reticle bounces around and most of my bullets miss. Down he goes to join the kill train below. I may as well follow. No matter how I try, I just can't hold a steady aim. Finally, I score some hits and off goes a wing. But watch this, the shortest of bursts, and both wings are ripped clean off that plane. I haven't seen 50 cals being that effective since early 2014. They're doing real structural damage now, as indeed they should. But I arrived too late to attack the Spitfire, and that of course is a real problem with the Bathtub. It's just too damn slow. Though I do get a passing shot at this yak, again my aim isn't the best. Another problem with this plane, it seems to have a massive bullseye painted on it. Most of my time is spent dodging attacks rather than going for kills myself, and yes, here comes another one. Once again pulling up sharply, then rolling into a hammerhead to avoid his guns. I'm trying to use a lot of vertical loops and dives to preserve what little speed I have. If I turned horizontally, I'd lose speed very quickly, and once you're slow in this plane, it's very hard to speed up again. But even so, I have no hope of catching the P-47 unless he turns. But I'm so concerned with checking the sky for threats that I don't see the Zero stalking me from ground level until it's too late. The Zero's on level energy terms with me, I can't force an overshoot, he's easily following my climbing spiral, and yes, I'm out of options and out of luck. I did say I was rusty, and there's the proof. But Zeros and Key 43s are a huge threat to the Bathtub at this battle ranking. They're faster, better climbers, and better in a dogfight. They outclass this plane in every way. But wait, I have a backup Bathtub. I think I might be the first person to ever say that in War Thunder. No messing around, I'm straight back into the action. circling above the fighters below me and trying to line up an attack. The P-51 here has decided to dogfight, which is a mistake. Let's see if I can make him pay for it. Once again, crosshairs wobbling around and I miss most of my shots. That looks like someone else has picked me out. It's a Spitfire. Good thing he used tracer and not stealth. My low-speed manoeuvring ability has saved my skin once again, though I still have to dodge the attack from that J2M. I'll keep turning just in case someone else has lined me up and take the opportunity to look around. The Spitfire's gone, it's just the J2M2 and this bomber, the B-34, who it looks like I might get a shot at. Here we go. Off goes a wing. Onto the J2M. And yep, he's down too. 450 cals do seem pretty effective now. You just have to get them on target, and at close range is even better. But what's the betting that BF-110 takes a shot at me? Yep, of course he does. Hopefully I can sneak under his guns. Only just. See what I mean about this plane's ability to absorb punishment? In many other fighters I'd have been shot down, but so often the bathtub finds a way to keep in the air, even when it looks like Swiss cheese. Okay, next battle. In this one, I decided to climb and try my luck at a higher altitude, as I couldn't see any way I'd get 10 kills mowing the grass. We're in control up here, and I have a friendly Wyvern and a Key 61 for company. There's no bombers nearby, so my first order of business is to look for anyone wanting to climb, and right on cue, here comes a BF-109. He has tons of energy. He's nowhere near stalling, which means I have to dodge. The friendly Key-61 gets the kill, but unfortunately rams the dead plane, leaving me with just the Wyvern for support. And 2.5 kilometers away is a climbing Typhoon. All of a sudden, things are getting quite busy. The Wyvern takes a shot at him and misses. Is the Tiffy going to climb back up? Doesn't look like it. No, he's diving away. I'll keep an eye on him in case he pulls a U-turn and tries for a helicopter attack, but it doesn't look like he will, so I switch my attention to Nij, who's back in another BF-109 and climbing again. And once again, I'm too early on my attack. He's still got plenty of energy, he's nowhere near stalling. I have to go evasive again. Going evasive in this plane's not a good idea. It's not only him I have to worry about, the Tiffy's climb back up without me noticing, and there's a P-38 on the way as well. The problem with having to go evasive so often is I lose speed dramatically. I can't climb. I'm basically caught here while they keep shooting at me. I'm just dodging bullets after bullets and trying to just stay in the air, and my situation is not improving. Though the Wyvern's taken out the P-38, so it is now just the 109 and the Tiffy. So my speed now is very low, under 200 kilometers an hour from all the manoeuvring, and I'm still just trying to keep out of their guns. I'm so glad this thing has a tough damage model, I really am. And because they've tried to turn with me, my opponents are also losing speed. Things are actually starting to turn in my favour. The Tiffy's recognised the situation and has bailed out and dived away, but it won't be long before I have the guns on the 109 who's still trying to hang with me. Yep, Tiffy's definitely out of the picture now. Now the 109's trying to break off as well, but he's well within range. It's just a question of whether my wobbly gunnery skills can take advantage of it. And that's not looking particularly likely, especially as the Wyvern swooped in to help out. And help he did. He overshot and tempted the 109 to take a shot at him, which has brought him very close in front of my guns, and they finally get the job done. And after all that work, I have my first kill in the game. Only 9 more to go. Should be a piece of cake. The Typhoon's coming back, but the Wyvern's onto him, so I might be clear. Nope. Better go evasive just in case. Good thing I did. This guy really has a fixation on shooting me down. I wonder why that is. He's made a mistake by turning so close to me, but my reticle kicks upwards, and I only land a hit. Now a Spitfire's joining the party. Looks like he's after the Wyvern, so that gives me a bit of breathing space, which I really need, as I've lost 1,000 meters of altitude and I'm way too slow, and I should have flown away from the spawn there to buy myself more time, but I've turned back into danger, which in retrospect is a fatal mistake. I keep forgetting how poorly this plane accelerates and climbs. But I realise it now as I see another Tiffy about to open fire. There he is. Once again I'm forced to dodge bullets, and what's worse, the Wyvern's been shot down. I am on my own now. Risked a head on there. It's getting to the point where I've got nothing to lose. I'm up against so many enemies. So, yes, I'm in a low-speed dogfight, only 1,000 metres above the enemy fighter spawn. This has now become a learning exercise, really. I try to make this Tiffy pay for turning in front of me, but again my aim is poor. He gets away with it. The other Tiffy's inbound, along with an A6M5, so I decide just to take the shot on this Tiffy anyway. See if I can go out with a second kill, but it's not to be. Okay, so before going any further, I spent some time experimenting with settings to see if I could improve my aim, and here's what I discovered. I'll open control settings, controls mode, and mouse aim is where I'm at. Now I'll scroll down. Oh, and by the way, I've never been able to work out what sense of flight does. Okay. Aim control sensitivity. I originally had it on 100%, now I'm moving it down to 0, though the actual minimum is 5%. This setting affects how heavy-handed the instructor is in its response to your mouse movements. At 100% it was jerking my plane all over the sky. No wonder I had trouble hitting anything. I've also changed to the stealth belt, as I found the traces were distracting rather than helpful. Okay, there's just one enemy fighter to deal with at the moment in this battle, a P-51 with cannon. I've lowered the nose to evade the inevitable head-on, and I'm going low in order to avoid losing speed, but he didn't take the shot, so I'll turn back up toward him in case he's decided to dogfight. And he's still within range. In fact, I'm gaining on him. Not sure what his tactic was there. And my guns are nice and steady now. Changing that setting made a huge difference. But the only problem is that helicopter attack has stalled me out, and it's going to take some time to get rolling again. And that wouldn't be a problem if it weren't for the fact that a cannon booster has spawned in and is climbing in the distance. I need to try and stop him from reaching my altitude. In fact, he's already quite high. This is not going to be easy. In flying at this altitude, my aim is to lure people into climbing at me as they'd see me as an easy kill, allowing me to catch them at low speed. And it would be nice if I could shoot a few bombers down as well. But at all costs I must prevent a strong turn fighter, like the cannon booster, from getting on equal energy terms with me. Anyway, here we go. He's helicoptering up to attack, so I dive to meet him, and then go evasive, hoping to catch him at the top of his climb. But it looks like we're already in a turn fight. He has plenty of speed, and that means I'm in real trouble. You can see how easily he's outturning me. A bathtub cannot hang with a Hayabusa in a turn fight, which means I'm going to try and initiate a rolling scissors. I'm switching to the opposite direction. He's flying in order to keep out of his guns and make him keep changing direction. My hope is to force an overshoot, and given the insane acceleration on his plane, that's definitely a chance, but he's broken away. He's trying another climbing attack. In other words, he's not letting me dictate the engagement. But neither has he finished me off as quickly or as easily as he'd hoped. I'll just reverse direction again, and now he's overshot, but I'm too slow to roll back, and that moment's passed before I can take advantage. Meanwhile, the other guy I shot down in the P-51 has been climbing up for revenge in a P-47. He's almost within range. My speed hasn't recovered yet. I have no choice but to dive. That puts both of them on my tail, so my dive has to be an evasive one. And while manoeuvring, I have to somehow keep an eye on both of them, so I can accurately dodge their attacks. And unfortunately, I can't risk going for a plane when it overshoots like that P-47's done there. I don't want to set myself up for the other plane, the cannon booster, who is indeed diving for the attack. Just have to keep... And it's around now I notice where I'm going. Sadly, I'm still deep in enemy territory. I really should have been leading these guys to friendlies during my dive. And once again this battle has become one of struggling to survive against multiple superior aircraft. My 10-kill goal is looking highly improbable. In fact, I'm wondering why on earth I signed myself up for this. I was so tempted to take a parting shot at the P-47 there, but I just can't risk lifting my nose to fly straight, not even for a moment. So I'm now down to ground level. I'll see if I can use the terrain as cover. And there's the 47 again, right in front of me. This is too good an opportunity to pass up. I have to take the shot. Yep, I have him on toast. At any moment I was expecting the cannon booster to pick me off, but so far it hasn't happened. See, in fact, it seems I've been left alone for the moment, so I'm hugging the terrain to make a run for it when a spray of 50 cals whizzes past. Up into a hard brake, reverse back again, and it's a P40. I'm going the wrong direction. I have to pull a split S to get a shot at him before he escapes. But it looks like he's circling back around the rocks, so I should be able to pick him off once he's over the ridge here. Yep, kill number 3. Nothing on the overhead, so am I safe? No. The cannon booster is swooping in for the kill, just when I thought he might have given up on me. I go evasive till he overshoots. Now, if I could just get this tub pointed in the right direction before he gets away... Come on. Smoke, but no fire. So I need to make a run for it, but where? There's no friendlies anywhere near me. I'm right down in the valley. I'm hemmed in by cliffs on both sides. I can't outrun him. I can't outmaneuver him. I'm quickly running out of options. I avoid pulling a hard brake for as long as possible. I'm trying to reach any area where friendlies might be, but eventually I'm forced to turn to escape from his guns. There's some blue planes in the area now, but a lot of reds, including my friend Cheperzone here, back in a P39, looking for revenge again. I almost get him a third time, but it's not to be. I thought about running again here, but I decided to turn and face the music, and I tried to duck under their guns once more. Here we go. I avoided the P39, but finally the cannon booster landed a shot, and that's where this story comes to an end. I'm still thinking, though, my strategy is the right one. Going to altitude and trying to lure planes into climbing and engaging me at low speed, where my maneuverability would give me a chance of shooting them down, and my lack of acceleration and poor climb rate would not be exposed as I'd have the altitude advantage. But for this to work, I'd need everything to go exactly to plan. My team needs to win control of bomber altitude, and preferably at least one friendly fighter has to stick with me, so the enemies can't just climb up en masse and trap me as they did in the earlier battles. I'd also like to have a chance of shooting down some slow, juicy bombers. I'll need some easy kills if I'm going to reach my target, and I won't find those bombers down at ground level. So far in this game, I have 2 friendly fighters up here with me, an A7M2 and another cannon booster. I tried to stick behind them while I clawed my way up to around 4,500 meters, and here comes the first threat, an enemy Ki-61 who has picked out the easiest target, which is of course me. Short burst in the head-on, and then I'm rolling out of the way. No sense losing my plane this early in the battle, and the A7M takes him out. And it is good to have company up here, but of course the A7M will reach that SP2M long before I can, and that's the downside of having support, having to compete with them for kills. Doesn't look like anyone's climbing, nothing's happening at all really, so I might see if I can climb up to this Halifax on my left. Needless to say, it took a while, but my friends are all off elsewhere, and I'm just about to get into guns range. Hopefully I can make this count. Hits. More hits. Hits again, and sparks. And it looks like he's going to get away. I'll try and light him up from behind. No luck, I'm afraid. Oh well. Never mind, I decided to head for the SP2M in the distance, and I wasn't far away from him when I noticed an A6M2 climbing up behind me. If I chased the bomber, the 0 would reach my altitude, which I simply could not allow, so the best choice was to turn around and take care of the fighter. Firstly, I want to get above him, so if he wants to attack me, he'll have to helicopter straight up, and yep, he's going to try it. I just wait until he's close to stalling. Now, looks good, and then swoop in for the kill. That's what comes from being greedy. But then I get greedy myself, as I decide to extend my attack to the P-47 below. He is completely unaware of my approach, but unfortunately I only score hits. and then he escapes by winging over into a dive, and I'm not going to follow him down there. The problem is I've lost 2,000 meters of altitude by doing that, and in this plane it's going to take a while to recover. And after climbing back up, the Zero pilot is back in a J2M. It looks like he wants revenge, and this is why I show player names. It lets me predict who's likely to come looking for me, and I can plan accordingly. Again, putting my nose down in the turn to avoid losing speed, and we're in a dogfight. Or at least we would be, if it hadn't been for my friend in the A7M2. Next we have a P-38 who's trying to climb out the back. And then, even better, a Wellington spawned in, and decides to ignore me by flying straight ahead instead of diving. And that's a poor life decision on his part. P-38's still away from the battle, but now he turns and starts climbing, and that's going to be another bad decision. Here he comes. I'll let him exhaust his energy, same as the A6M. In a futile attempt to get guns on me, I'll just circle around until he stalls, and then swoop in for the easiest of kills. Now some people would get all upset about this and start throwing around terms like spawn camper, but so far every one of my kills has chosen his fate, either by ignoring me, as the Wellington did, or believing the laws of physics didn't apply to them, and stalling their planes. Anyway, the blue A7M is chasing a Junker 88 off altitude, and that's drawn the attention of a Hurricane. I commit to the attack, but the Hurricane thought better of it, and turned away toward the furball. How long do I press this attack? I decide it's not worth dropping below 3,000 meters, and I let him go. And it's a good thing too, as the P-38 pilot is looking for revenge in a Cannon Mustang. It doesn't look like the A7M wants him, so he's going for the B-25, so I finish my zoom climb, and then turn and see if I can get him to dogfight. First I have to avoid the head-on, and as I'm low on speed I'll put it into a diving snap roll, and that gets it done. I almost make the mistake of making a climbing turn, but I remember to drop my nose in time. He seems to realise the danger is in and tries to dive, but he's turned back toward me again. This is going to give me a long firing opportunity. Assuming I can hit the target. Yep. That's what happens when a fast interceptor tries to turn fight with the Bathtub of Glory. So that's 4 kills. My hold on altitude is still secure, and my plane's undamaged. So far, so good. And then there's a pause in the action. I hate it when this happens. Suddenly no planes are spawning in, there's no bombers or climbers. A P-47's appeared, but the A7M's already swooped in for the kill there. See, there he goes. So I'm kind of isolated up here with nothing much to do. Do I circle around and wait, or should I push lower to the mid-map furball? It's one of those situations where you feel like whatever you decide to do will be wrong. But my friend Bubby is back and climbing in a P-63, but the A7M again is just way too fast. He'll get to him way before I can. It's good to have support at bomber altitude, but in this situation it's a mixed blessing. I'm definitely losing kill opportunities because of it. The A7M in fact is getting very aggressive now. He's not bothering to zoom climb back up. He's pressed lower and he's mopping up one target after the next. So I decide to drop down a bit as well, even though it's taking the risk of getting caught as I did in the early battles. Sorry Bubby, you can't just ignore me like that and get away with it. Quick check of my surroundings to see if I've attracted any attention. Yes, that 190 is chasing me. I hold the zoom climb as long as I can, because I need every metre of altitude, but he had second thoughts. Perhaps I wasn't offering a tempting enough target. Let's see what he does if I turn back above him. Nope, he's headed for the furball, I'm afraid. But my friend Bubby isn't, of course. He has one objective at the moment, and that's to shoot me down. I make a mistake here by diving to engage. Getting him to stall would have been the safer option. In fact, it seems to have spooked him, diving at him like that, and he's given up and diving away. Count that as a missed kill, I think. It's a question now of whether the 190 and lag 3 will see me within range and choose to attack. And yes, the 190 is going for it. fake the head-on, snap roll away, let him pass by, and then a rudder and elevator turn. And yes, he's tried to turn with me at the top of his climb, and the 190 is not a good low-speed turn fighter. Look at him just hanging there. He's stalled out completely. So I show him the error of his ways. Hello, it's a Hampton. Doesn't quite have the energy to follow my turn, and he's going to dive away as well. But is that Hellcat climbing? I dive down toward him just in case. But no, he too is diving away. And then there's the lag, who has, unlike his friends, gotten up to my altitude by side climbing. Let's see if I can get him to turn fight. Hellcat's attacking after all. I need to finish the lag quickly if I can. Here we go. Shots lining up nicely. I must say, dropping the aim control sensitivity has made aiming a lot easier. I do strongly recommend it. That's 7 kills. The Hellcat's given up, leaving... what's that in the distance? A climbing I-15. Seriously? This is supposed to be an up-tier battle. Okay, if you insist. I feel bad now. But nevertheless, that's 8 kills. I only need 2 more to reach my target. How hard can it be? But once more, there's a pause in the action. The climbers have given up for now. There's no bombers in the area, though the LA-5 down there does look a bit interested. I thought about pressing lower, but then the Wellington pilot from earlier spawns another one, and once again he's going to ignore me. Come on. This is looking juicy. Just flying in a dead straight line. It's like he's asleep at the wheel. No luck that time, but I should be able to swoop around and finish him off. Right, down he goes. Just 1 kill required, but time is running out, and the tickets are starting to bleed down. And I have a Spitfire on my tail, not the kind of plane I can easily beat in a dogfight. Killing the Wellington has dropped me to 3,500 metres, and now the Spit has me trapped here. I engage flaps and cut throttle, aiming for a sharp hammerhead turn. I'm not sure that was the wisest choice I've ever made, but the Spit's dived away, but he has not given up. Watch him. Yep, here he comes back up again. Once again I'm going to have to dodge. And now I've lost a lot of altitude. I'm only 1,000 metres above their fighter spawn, and you know what happened last time I did that. I can't outturn this Spit. Neither can I run away from him, but to complicate matters, a J2M is inbound at high speed. There he is, and then a graphics freeze at the worst possible moment, but somehow I'm still flying. With planes all over me, and no time to assess my situation, I just go into a dive. The Spitfire's turned away at least, that's something, but where is everyone else? See if I can look above. Looks like only the Hampton has followed me down, so all I need to do is loop around, and I should score a miraculous 10th kill. Here we go. Unbelievable. I was robbed, I tell you, robbed of that 10th kill. Ah well. And for a consolation prize I get a bunch of backups. Nice. Thank you, War Thunder. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. I really did enjoy putting it together. I must say I've been pleasantly surprised by the distinct increase in people flying fighters and going for air kills. When I last played the game there was a real trend towards rushing ground targets. I'm glad that seems to have eased off, at least from what I've seen. Will I keep playing video games and will I make more videos? Well, right now I really don't know. My life is very busy these days, so I can't make promises, but I'll do my best to keep this channel going with interesting content when I can. So until my next video, good hunting everyone, and I'll see you in the skies.